Now Eminem's been involved in more than a few rap battles. From his early days, he has taken on a number of artists like Cage over his Slim Shady style, and even bigger names like Ja Rule with a little help from 50 Cent. And let's not forget about his ongoing beef with the Source magazine and Benzino. In the rap game, Eminem has become known as a guy you don't want to mess with. But guess what? Rap is competitive, and rappers still think they can take him on. Names like Nick Cannon, Lil Pump, Lord Jamar, and The Game have all stepped up to challenge the rap god himself. Today, we're not talking about the famous feuds you've heard about a million times, like the ones with MGK and Ja Rule. No, today we'll be discussing Eminem's lesser-known feuds. So let's begin. Now let's begin with some whack rappers that tried to go at Eminem. So, remember the song Gucci Gang?
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Well, the guy behind it, Lil Pump, had some choice words for Eminem back around December of 2020. Out of nowhere, he jumped on IG and said the following.
Hey, Eminem, you is lame as hell. Ain't nobody listening to your old ass. You lame as bitch.
When this dropped, fans were like, huh? What's going on here? But let's rewind a bit. Around 2018, Eminem dropped a surprise album called Kamikaze, and in one of the songs, he called out Lil Pump and others for copying other rappers. According to Eminem, most of these rappers were trying to sound like Wayne.
Finger bang, chicken wang, BGK, you can say Lil Pump, Lil Xan, imitate Lil Wayne. I should aim at everybody in the game, pick a name.
Now Lil Pump didn't say anything back then, but another rapper, Lil Xan, actually thanked Eminem for the shout-out.
Eminem did diss me.
Oh yeah, he did have a little bar.
He was like Lil Xan, Lil Pump, imitate Lil Wayne.
Lil Pump, Lil Xan, imitate Lil Wayne.
And I was like, yeah, I definitely imitate Lil Wayne.
But that's such an oversimplification. If you're gonna say you and Pump imitate Lil Wayne, then you have to basically say that every rapper in the game
imitates Lil Wayne
for like the past 10, 20 years.
Yeah, I was like, just because Lil, like I was happy that he mentioned my name.
Even Justin Bieber got in on the action, saying he liked Eminem's style but didn't like him dissing the new guys. According to Bieber, Eminem just did not understand the new generation of rap. Fast forward to around 2020, and Lil Pump's diss seemed like a late comeback. Fans were very quick to back Eminem, with one person joking, "Laughing my ass off. Nobody listens to Eminem?" Says the person who just listened to Eminem. Eminem's buddy Royce the 5'9" even chimed in, and his response was hilarious. He said the following. "I'll slap them glasses so far off his face, they'll land in a whole nother genre. Not cause I'm mad, but just cause I'm exhausted with all the tough talk from all these harmless creatures. Enjoy yourself. You actually make money off blatant misappropriation while not really being good at anything." Lil Pump then did an interview with Fat Joe and acted like he did not remember what he said. But after some prodding, he sort of apologized. It was all a bit confusing.
Every time I see you, you're a great guy. And then when I hear rumors in there, oh, Lil Pump got locked up again. Lil Pump got beef with this one. I'm like, yo, this is the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah.
I never understood the Eminem, Lil Pump. Like, what was that about?
Who?
Eminem.
I don't remember that.
And that's not the only thing Lil Pump was up to. He was also supporting Donald Trump. People were not too happy about this. As for Eminem, he kept doing his thing. But Eminem's career isn't without haters. And one person who had beef with Eminem was Lord Jamar. It all began when Lord Jamar, from the legendary group brand Nubian, told Vlad TV that white rappers like Eminem are just guests in hip-hop. Lord Jamar was basically saying that even though white rappers were pouring into the rap game, and even though some of them did have some skill, they will always place behind African Americans in the rap game because African Americans created hip-hop music.
White rappers, you're coming to this almost as a guest.
Now this debate went on for quite some time. Many other people shared their opinion on this topic. And even though big name rappers said that Eminem was not a guest in the house of hip hop, Lord Jamar reaffirmed his stance. In 2014, Lil Jamar was still talking about Eminem. He said Eminem's fans were mostly white and didn't really get what hip-hop's all about. He also said that even though Eminem's a very talented rapper, the topics Eminem raps about in his songs do not appeal to him. For a while, it seemed like every time Lil Jamar was on Vlad TV, he was bashing Eminem. This went on for years. And just when it seems like this whole beef was one-sided, Eminem fired back. In the song The Fall off Eminem's Kamikaze album, Eminem dropped a line directed at Lil Jamar. Now, after years and years of talking about Eminem, Lil Jamar finally got the response he was looking for. In response, Lil Jamar said the following: "You are now doing what the I wanted you to do. I have made you modify your behavior." He further elaborated by saying, "The gloves are off now. I wanted this to happen because see, I'm a chess player, okay? If he didn't respond, I win. And if he responds, I win. Either way, I win, okay? Because you are now doing what the I wanted you to do. I have made you modify your behavior. I got into your psyche. You sat there and had to sit down and try to think of some shit to respond to Lil Jamar's jabs that you know you could not escape." It seems like Lil Jamar was unimpressed by Eminem's jabs, but Eminem was not done. Around 2019, during a concert in Abu Dhabi, Eminem made a direct verbal jab at Lil Jamar, further escalating the tension between them.
I had last night.
You had a dream it was
I had a dream that I was a fucking nobody who sucked at rap.
Oh, really?
And then I woke up, and you know who I was, Mr. Porter?
Who are you?
Lord Jamar.
Really?
But I don't really care, Mr. Porter. Do you know why? Why?
Then Eminem took things one step further. On the track I Will, off Eminem's Music to Be Murdered By album, Eminem took further shots at Lil Jamar and called him the weakest link in Brand Nubian.
I am far more worse than a 40-some bar Lord Jamar verse.
But here's the twist. Even though Lil Jamar was getting dissed by Eminem, Lil Jamar admitted that Eminem was the better rapper. He just didn't like how people put Eminem on a pedestal.
I always said I think he's talented. Do I think he's the best MC? No.
Then Eminem surprised everyone. In a podcast with Crooked Eye, he said, "I'm absolutely a guest. I never said I wasn't. I never said I was the king of anything." Now everyone knows Eminem always pays respect to those who came before him, so his response was not a surprise. Lil Jamar seemed happy about it, but then he posted old pictures of Eminem wearing what looks like a Will Smith mask. He called it clowning in a blackface mask. But in response, fans jumped to Eminem's defense, saying it was just a joke. After a while, it seems like the beef between Eminem and Lil Jamar began to fizzle out. But during M's beef with Jamar, M was also taking on another adversary, Mariah Carey's then husband, Nick Cannon. So picture this. It's the year 2001 and Mariah Carey and Eminem are at the top of their game. Mariah wants Eminem for a collab on her Charm Bracelet album. After this, Eminem claims they dated for a bit, but Mariah Carey was like, "Nah, we were just working together." Eminem, not being one to keep quiet, mentions Mariah Carey on 2 songs off the Eminem show, and people start to think they are a thing.
What you trying to be my new wife? What you Mariah? Fly through twice.
Mariah then responds, drops a song called Clown, where she basically says Eminem is making it all up without saying his name, of course. Mariah also goes in a bunch of interviews saying they only met a few times and never dated.
So what was going on between you and Eminem, if anything?
Nothing. Look, I talked to him. I, have spoken to him a few times, whatever. But in terms of me having like an intimate relationship with men, I can name them all on one hand, and he ain't on the hand.
Then around 2005, things heat up. Eminem begins playing what he says are voicemails from Mariah Carey at his concerts.
It was Mariah. I told you to stop following me every city we go. It's over between us. Remember you said there was never anything between us? Remember you said on VH1 or MTV or whatever it was, man.
this, you like this, you like this. Oh my God,
In response, Mariah's team said those voicemails were not real, prompting a response from Eminem on the song Jimmy Crack Corn around 2006.
Meanwhile, your mind's on us like mine's on Mariah, and y'all are just like her, you're all liars.
Fast forward to around 2008 of April, and Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon get married. And that's how Nick Cannon got involved in the feud. Nick and Mariah had a wedding in the Bahamas after only dating for about 6 weeks. Things were going well for Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey. That's until around 2009 when Eminem dropped Bagpipes from Baghdad, a track that's all about Mariah Carey and her then husband Nick Cannon.
Mariah, whatever happened to us? Why did we have to break up? All I asked for was a glass of punch.
According to the song, he still loved Mariah and wanted her back. And let's just say Mariah and Nick were not too pleased about this. Nick Cannon then went off in a now deleted blog post saying he's taking full action on Eminem. He writes, "I don't know why no one has stood up to your ass yet, but I guess it's going to take a corny, whack rapping boy toy from Nickelodeon to set you straight. And trust, I am going to be relentless. Even though I got a lot of other obligations and occupations, you are my new full-time job, homie." He even calls Eminem a natural-born racist in disguise. Now Mariah did not stay quiet either. She dropped a song called Obsessed with lyrics like, "You're delusional. Boy, you're losing your mind." And she also said, "You're a mom and pop. I'm a corporation. I'm a press conference. You're a conversation." Now around this point, Gucci Mane also jumped into the beef. He was on the song called Obsessed and took Mariah's side, calling Eminem a bird and a nerd. Gucci Mane said, "I guess shorty mad cause he ain't got you no more. So just like Pinocchio, his nose gone grow." Eminem then fired back on a track called The Warning.
Wanna hear something wick whack? I got the same exact tat that's on Nick's back.
And a lot of people don't know this, but on Drake's track Forever, Eminem responded to Gucci Mane's Pinocchio line by saying the following.
They've been waiting patiently for Pinocchio to poke his nose back into the game.
Yep, there was definitely a cold war going on between Eminem and Gucci Mane. As the years went by, the feud escalated between Eminem, Nick Cannon, and Gucci Mane. Fast forward to around 2016, and Gucci Mane is talking about Eminem in an interview. He claims Eminem is very talented, but his music does not touch the urban scene. He even says, "Eminem's music does not resonate in my car." Then around 2018, Gucci Mane was interviewed and spoke about Eminem again. When asked if he thought Eminem was the king of hip-hop, he was like, "You need to think of a better nominee."
Somebody said right now Eminem is the king of rap. Why would you say he's not? You got to come with a better name. Yeah. that ain't even worth. All right. Because I ain't playing Eminem in my car.
Then around 2019, Nick Cannon did an interview with Vlad TV. He recalled that when he and M had their conflict back in the day, Gucci Mane was one of the first people to encourage him to confront the situation. According to Nick Cannon, Gucci Mane was always on his side. And that's why Gucci said what he said about Eminem on the song Obsessed. Fast forward to the end of the year, and Fat Joe drops his Family Ties album, and Eminem's verse on one of the songs takes shots at Nick Cannon. After Nick Cannon got a hold of this, he went onto Twitter and took more jabs at Eminem. He said this, "Fat Joe's album is star-studded. He even did some charity work and dug Eminem out of his grave. I mean cave. LOL. Flam flam, blam blam, Nick Cannon. Bring your to MTV Wild 'N Out to battle like a real legend, Grandpa Marshall." Now at this point, everybody knew that Eminem was not going to appear on Wild 'N Out. It's just not Eminem's MO. However, Nick Cannon took the feud to a whole nother level when he dropped the diss track, The Invitation. He called out Eminem's past controversies and even brought Eminem's family into it.
Slim won't show for the video cause he terrified of my squad.
Then Nick Cannon decided to go back to back and dropped another diss track at Eminem. And this one was far worse than the previous one.
You used to be in a position to talk to kids and they listen. Now you a politician, you voted for Trump, bitch, admit it.
On these songs, Nick Cannon tried to look like a tough guy. He surrounded himself with some non-threatening goons and even threatened to put hands on Eminem. Let's just say people were not too impressed by Nick Cannon. They were like, wait, isn't this the guy from Wild 'N Out and Drumline? Isn't this the guy who can't rap? What the hell is he thinking taking on Eminem? So, when Nick Cannon dropped these diss tracks at Eminem, Nick became a laughingstock online. Now, even though Eminem did not respond with direct bars at Nick Cannon, he did respond to Nick Cannon on Twitter. In one line from the invitation by Nick Cannon raps, "I heard your chauffeur got a video of you sucking a Eminem responded to this line on Twitter by saying, "You mad, bro? Stop lying on my dick. I never even had a chauffeur. You bougie But wait, there is more." 50 Cent also jumped in to give his take on the beef. Naturally, 50 Cent is gonna side with Eminem, and 50 did just that by calling Nick Cannon corny.
I would never respond to Nick Cannon. Never. Listen, look. Now look, the camera's on, right? He's legendary corny.
Then around 2020, Eminem drops Music to Be Murdered By, and on the song No Regrets, he finally addresses Nick Cannon.
So some targets will get the kill shot, some are just barely nicked them.
Nick Cannon then had some choice words for Eminem. He said this, "You gotta remember, I was defending myself once again. He keeps bringing it up for decades. I'm one of those cats that matches energy. I don't do it. I overdo it." Nick Cannon then went on to say that if Eminem kept talking about him, he would always talk back. At the end of the day, Eminem's beef with Nick Cannon did nothing to tarnish his reputation in the rap game. He's still the rap god, dropping successful albums and keeping his place as one of the most respected rappers out there. The feud, just another day in the life of Slim Shady. Nick Cannon, on the other hand, was always known for being corny. So when Nick Cannon dropped those diss tracks at Eminem, he was simply staying within his brand and could not, no matter how hard he tried, appear to be a tough guy.
I don't give a fuck if his ass was young. Can't let that slide, that's on my sons. Goddamn right, yeah, I'm on one.
Nick Cannon went on to have multiple baby mamas. So his feud with Eminem was eventually overshadowed by his sexual prowess, making a lot of people forget about the corny diss tracks he dropped towards Eminem. Now, just as one beef was coming to an end, or at least taking a break, another one began to brew, and this time the culprit was the master of beef after 50 Cent, The Game. Now, The Game's beef with Eminem came from left field. In the early stages of their relationship, The Game was very vocal about his admiration for Eminem. He often praised Eminem for being lyrical and praised his contributions to the hip-hop industry. The Game was quoted saying that Eminem was one of the best MCs ever, and even included him in his top 10 rappers alive. The Game even once said that he would never beef with Eminem because Eminem was too lyrical and would rip him to shreds.
Another question, Game, what do you think of Recovery?
Classic. I love it. Yeah.
M's back?
Eminem is Eminem. If you notice in hip hop, Eminem is the only rapper that nobody ever wants a problem with, including myself, man. Eminem is like the most lyrically insane. Even when I was going at 50 and me and Dre wasn't seeing eye to eye, man, I stayed away from the white dude, because he a problem. You know what I'm saying? I understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like Eminem, I don't think it's a rapper he won't slay, and you don't even want a war with Eminem. He crazy.
But then something changed. The Game's admiration seemed to cool off, replaced by a competitive fire. During an episode of Drink Champs, The Game went on to say that he was a better rapper than Eminem and that he was not afraid to prove it.
Yeah, I used to think Eminem was better than me.
So what you saying right now?
He's not. Challenge. Hey, challenge it.
Game, you don't want to go versus against
Yes,
Eminem.
I do. What do you mean? Yeah, I do. The f*** you mean? So what you trying to say? Hey, let's just say what you're trying to say. You trying to say that I don't want to head up fade with the white man?
Now after this, the public was like, hold up, how did we get here? How do you go from praising Eminem to challenging him to a lyrical showdown? But if you've been watching The Game's career, he's no stranger to beefs, even if they seem to come out of the blue. Then The Game dropped a diss track at Eminem called The Black Slim Shady. The song was about 10 minutes long, and let's just say the Game held no punches. The Game took aim at Eminem's persona, his music, and his place in the hip-hop industry.
That I was in the white Rolls Royce with 5'9s when you was pretending to be the white Royce the 5'9.
However, despite all these bars directed at Eminem, not too many people were feeling this attack. People assumed the Game was simply being bipolar again, especially considering he once praised Eminem, then went on to diss him. Now, for the most part, Eminem seemed to ignore the Game and the Black Slim Shady diss track. A lot of people feel like Eminem did not need to respond. However, Eminem responded to the Game on a track called Realist.
And that is the only retort, is I'm not played in the club. Motherfucker, put a cork in it.
Now, did Eminem need to respond? Probably not. Eminem could have won this beef without saying a thing. But as we all know, Eminem is very competitive, and he probably felt the need to compete. Now, Eminem found himself in hot water once again when he went up against a close affiliate of the Game and a former ally, Snoop Dogg. This one took place around the year 2020. During this year, Snoop Dogg had some very disparaging things to say about Eminem's music. He appeared on The Breakfast Club, and when he began talking about the best rappers of all time, Snoop Dogg mentioned that Eminem was not on his list. And to take things even further, Snoop said he could live without Eminem's music.
The great white hope. White rappers had zero respect in rap. Let's keep that 1,000 out. None. He has probably put Eminem in a position where he could be labeled as one of the top 10 rappers ever. I don't think so, but the Game feels like he's top 10 lyricists and all that comes with it, but that's just because he's with Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre helped him find the best Eminem that he could find. He did that. But when you're talking about this hip-hop that I can't live without.
Now, when Snoop said these things publicly, a lot of people were very confused, especially considering Eminem, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg always seemed to be very close. So when this happened, it threw a lot of people off. But Eminem, not one to stay quiet, responded to Snoop Dogg in a song called Zeus from the deluxe edition of Music to Be Murdered By. On the song, Eminem raps,
Last thing I need is Snoop Dogg in me, man dog, like a damn god to me.
Then around New Year's Eve of 2020, Eminem spoke more about this on his radio channel Shade 45. According to him, he was not mad about being left off Snoop's list. He was taken aback by Snoop Dogg's tone and dismissiveness. It seems Eminem always looked up to Snoop Dogg, and Snoop's comments felt like a slap in the face.
I think it was more about the tone he was using that caught me off guard, because I'm like, yo, where is this coming from?
After this, it wasn't long until Snoop Dogg heard what Eminem had to say, and he responded by saying, "Pray I don't answer that soft ass shit." Then around January of 2021, Snoop Dogg drops "Talk That to Me." He didn't mention Eminem by name, but those lyrics seem to reference Eminem. Snoop Dogg said the following,
Play Superman, I'll be your kryptonite.
Now at this point, it's clear Snoop Dogg and Eminem were taking light jabs at each other. And after a while, Daz Dillinger and Royce the 5'9" spilled some tea about the beef. According to Daz, the whole thing began when Eminem allegedly turned down a feature request from Snoop Dogg. Daz said the following, "When I was talking to Snoop, he said he asked Eminem to get on his album and they told him no. And Snoop felt some type of way. Snoop was like, I did all this and all that and they tell me no? Don't nobody tell me no." According to Daz, Snoop took things very personally, and that's why Eminem and Snoop Dogg did not collaborate very often. But let's fast forward to the good stuff. The feud eventually came to an end, and it all happened through music. Eminem's lyrics in the remix of Killer hinted at peace.
Just call Snoop and I talk to him. We all cool. Dre, me and the dog, good dog. We got you.
But the real confirmation came with the release of From the D to the LBC. The track had Eminem and Snoop Dogg spitting some really dope verses, which made some people wonder if the entire thing was one big publicity stunt. Now, let's not forget that Snoop Dogg and Eminem performed together at the Super Bowl halftime show alongside Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. Snoop and M rocked the stage, giving us a powerful display of unity. So, What's the takeaway here? This feud may have had its ups and downs, but it led to a remarkable musical collaboration that was an absolute treat for fans. Now the next beef we're discussing takes place around 2014. Around this time period, Eminem dropped his Shady XV compilation album, and let's just say the project wasn't well received. Tyler, the Creator, never one to hold back his thoughts, took to Twitter to share his disappointment with Eminem's compilation album, Shady XV. He idolized Eminem, but felt let down by this release. It wasn't a personal attack, just an honest critique, but it marked the beginning of their feud. Eminem, known for his sharp tongue and no-holds-barred approach, didn't take Tyler's words lightly. In his 2018 track Fall, from the album Kamikaze, he fired back with some lines directed at Tyler. Tyler's response? Surprisingly calm. He didn't really engage in a diss, but instead focused on his own music. But let's go back to 2017. During this year, Eminem dropped another album called Revival, and this one was trashed a lot by the public. Once again, Tyler, the Creator, had a lot to say, especially about the track Walk on Water featuring Beyonce, and according to him, the track was trash. The reason why Eminem dropped Kamikaze was because he felt like he had to respond to his haters, and Tyler, the Creator, was one of them.
Does Tyler create nothing? I see why you called yourself a bitch. It's not just cause you lack attention.
Now this feud eventually fizzled out. Tyler has always been a huge fan of Eminem, so no one truly expected Tyler to diss Eminem on a song. Eminem eventually felt bad for dissing Tyler and using a homophobic slur to describe him, and as of now it seems like their feud is officially over.
Right. The word that I called him on the album was, on that song, was one of the things where I felt like this might be too far.
In essence, Eminem is no stranger to beefs. The man fights his own battles, and usually he's the last man standing. But there are also times when he lets things go, like with Snoop Dogg. They had a bit of a situation, but now they're cool. Then there's Tyler, the Creator. M realized that Tyler was simply a fan with thoughts, and eventually apologized. That's it, no big deal. But on the flip side, Eminem's beef with the game is still ongoing, and so far it seems like Eminem is winning with minimal effort. Nick Cannon tried to come at him too, but Eminem barely gave him the time of day. At the end of the day, despite his many beefs, Eminem is still standing and still dropping projects. And the message is simple: M is not someone you want to cross in this game, and if a rapper dares to cross M, he might end up on the same trajectory as MGK, changing genres and all. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. I hope you liked the many beefs of Eminem. New What Happened 2 video dropping soon. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.